Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Fauerback program. We've got two of my very favorite people with me tonight. To my right is Margaret Fauerback, who on June 7th, wasn't it, Margaret? 17th. She turned, tell everybody how old you are.
102.
Isn't she amazing? She looks like she's 72. Great shape. She and Donald had dinner here at the Motorsports Park, and an excellent dinner, that's for sure. And it was interesting, Margaret and I were talking at dinner time about a column that Tim Shannon wrote, and it was really something. Tell everybody what was in that column and about what went on at the, I guess, at American Legion is where he
The Bob France had seen on television somewhere where they were playing Little League, and he thought it'd be a nice thing for Millville to have. So he decided that he was going to do something about it. So he called a meeting at the American Legion, and I'm not sure, but I think it was in 1954.
I think you're right.
And he had two men show up, Shannon Cossaboon and Rudy Fauerback.
Tell everybody who Rudy Fauerback is, or was.
Rudy Fauerback was my husband of 72 and a half years.
Oh my goodness. Wow. What a wonderful man. Rudy did upholstery, was that the business he had?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And you guys were on Howard Street?
Fulton.
Okay, one over. I missed by one. That is unbelievable. Wow. And speaking of Little League, thanks to Rudy and Bob Bryant, Donald and I got to play Little League together out to the airport.
Well, that's when the American League became.
Yes, that's right.
The airport, and the National League was the other side of the river.
You're right. This lady's sharper than me. That's true. That was National Little League started first. Yep. Out behind Bacon School.
Yep. South Millville.
Now, did your son Rudy play in the National League?
Yes, he was in the National League. He was on the. Les Mayer was his coach. I think it was the Eagles he was on.
Yeah, probably the Eagles. The
I
Elks
believe
were
it
some
was.
of the sponsors.
Les Mayer was the coach. I do remember that.
Wow.
It was very interesting to read how Babe Ruth got started, the Thunderbolt, how they got started, who was involved with it. I really enjoyed reading the fourth of write-ups that he had in this paper that he had for us.
It really was amazing. And, thank God for Rudy and Bob and the people that cared about the kids to get it started. And, as we talked about, the National League started 54, 55, whatever. And then I guess the American Little League started 5 years later, Don. We were playing out there in the early 60s, I imagine, right?
55 or 56.
Okay.
Chubby Kears was my coach, local 219.
Yep.
And you were on?
Howard Young was my coach, and I was on Flanagan Brothers.
Flanagan Brothers.
Hank Dean was with me, Chris Riley.
Yep.
Yeah. You remember Chris?
I still
Chris
have
Riley
those pictures of all the team photos.
Yeah. And that's something. Yeah. That's another thing that's amazing. Donald has everything organized in place and does all that. But I see where you get this knack from. Mom's pretty sharp. You gave him that trait, right?
I hope so.
Well, I'm telling you, you're amazing.
Well, I said the brain is still working pretty good, but the body's not activated, acting up too much.
Well, I don't know. Well, pretty good. It's unbelievable. My gosh, Don. I remember, Margaret, when I got invited to your 100th birthday party, and Margaret lives at the beautiful part of the Morris River, down just outside of Millville, Marshall Township. How long have you been in your house? One now that you're in.
Oh, almost 40 years.
Been that long?
1987.
Wow.
I know it was 87. Yeah.
Donald, how long have you been down there?
This next year will be 40 years.
Okay.
We moved in 84.
So then built the house for Mom.
3 years later, we built the house for Mom and Dad.
That's nice. That is wonderful.
Sold their house while they were in Florida. They didn't know it. They came home. I said, make sure you stop at our house before you before you come home. Thank heavens they did, or else they would have knocked on the door and found somebody living in their house.
That is really unbelievable. My God, God bless you. That's fabulous. It really is. And anyway, I guess when you look at all the things Donald has done, you've got to be very pleased with his accomplishments.
Yes, I'm very proud of Donald. Very proud of him. I mean, the only thing that I wasn't very proud of was the fact that as soon as he got a car, he was out racing. And racing where he shouldn't be racing.
Weatherby Road?
And
Wade Boulevard.
Oh, okay.
How about Weatherby Road?
Well, we ended up out there later. Eventually, we were on Weatherby Road. But back then, mostly on Wade Boulevard by the swim club.
That's right, I do.
By the railroad tracks.
I remember that too.
Yep.
What kind of car did he have, Margaret? Do you remember?
He bought his own car before he was old enough to drive. Now, I don't remember what it was.
One of 655 Chevys.
Wow.
But he totaled it.
Racing?
No. Coming home from school.
Oh, okay.
He was going to Salem Tech. And he brought had been snowing, and he brought a fellow home, because we always told him, now, don't go on the back roads when the weather's bad. You do Delsey Drive, and 49, whatever. I said, yeah. And I said, but he did. He gave his kid a ride home, and he slipped him into a tree or a telephone pole.
3 telephone poles.
Wow.
So it was a little slippery.
I guess so. Wow. And that's what got him, I guess, interested in driving at the Motorsports Park. And tell everybody what you did at the Motorsports Park about 10 years ago. Tell them what she's doing.
Well, there was a specialist down because I have macular degeneration. And he and my husband were discussing cars. And he just looked over the condition, and I said, I don't have a car, I have a van. That long ago on my birthday, I said, I went out to a racetrack and a present for my son for my birthday, and I drove a car around the track 10 times. I said, he looked at me and he looked over at my husband shook his head, yes. I said, but now in 91, I drove around. I had an instructor in the car.
Pete Tremper was there with her, our chief instructor.
Well, it's interesting. I had said to Margaret before we went on the air, I certainly admire her. I mean, she's amazing, folks, really. Sitting and talking and all that at 102. And I said, I have a good friend, Mrs. Dreyer, Luella Dreyer.
Yep.
And Luella is 103. She was a math teacher at junior high when I taught at the junior high. Very active at First Assembly of God Church. And I believe she's still driving. And you probably could too, for the...
If she had
my eyesight.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
But it's unbelievable. God bless you. What do you attribute your longevity to? Having Donald and Rudy, or what do you know?
I've been asked that question many times, but I don't know.
Well, I did notice you had salad for. Do you watch what you eat? Or you?
No.
Okay.
Oh no. No, I eat everything.
That's great. That's super.
No, I just no. As a matter of fact, I have a grandson that brings down dinners all froze from Massachusetts.
Oh, that's where the dialect comes from, right?
Maine.
Maine. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Maine, Portland.
Oh, was that where you were?
Portland, Maine.
Oh, beautiful state.
That's where she met my dad.
How'd you meet Rudy in Maine?
He was in the Navy.
Oh, okay.
And they had a place at the Chamber of Commerce building in Portland. And it was run a lot like a USO, but it was not connected with the USO. And this one Friday night, I was tired. My mother broke her ankle, and I just didn't feel like dancing. She said, well, you go. The band's there, you go in, you have a good time. So I was sitting outside the coat room, and he walked over, and never seen you here. And I said, I haven't seen you here either. He said, can you dance? I said, can you? I wasn't very social. And so we danced, and that was really the beginning of it.
Oh my God. And that was 72 years ago, 73?
We were married for 72 and a half years, and I only knew him 2 months when we got married.
So over 72 and a half years. And that worked out well. My goodness. You knew him for 2 months, and we're married for 72 and a half years. That is pretty good.
He was shipping out, so they got married. And then when he came back, they got married and lived together. And a year or two later, Rudy was born. Rudy was born in Portland.
Oh, no kidding.
Then, a year later, just a year.
Then they moved down here, and I was born here.
Oh, that's neat. That is amazing. What
and Rudy in 40, I moved down here in 1944. And I had Rudy in April of 44. We were married in April of 43. He got out into service in September 45. And then we had Donald in July of 46.
Yep.
Yep. Now the secret's out about my age.
Yep. Now we know. You're right up there with me. But I tell you,
that wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah, that's right. The both of you are same age.
I'm 6 months older than Donald. Yeah, we both.
Oh, really?
Your birthday is December 12th.
Yes, that's right. And I just want to know for my birthday, if you could do the same thing for me you did for your mother for her 100th birthday.
When you turn 100, we will have that party. we had a little less than 200 people.
Wow,
at that party.
That was super.
I was lucky during COVID, but we got through it.
That was fabulous.
It was at a time when they were allowing outdoor gatherings of over 500 people, and we squeaked it in.
Yeah, and folks, where they live is just beautiful, gorgeous. And Donald, we'll talk a little bit later too in the program about him being executive director of the New Jersey Conference of Mayors, where he did a fantastic job. Whatever Donald does, he does it 110%. We'll be back with Margaret and Donald Fauerback right after these messages.
Advanced robotics. Experienced physicians. When it comes to minimally invasive surgery, we don't play around.
Are you just part of the crowd?
Do you feel isolated and alone?
Do you wish someone would see your gifts?
Would you like to be seen as an individual?
A person of value.
Full of life and purpose. Part of a family that cares?
New Jersey Motorsports Park. Experience the adrenaline rush of go-karting on our challenging tracks, with arrive and drive sessions, available for all skill levels. Looking for something even more daring? Try your hand at axe throwing, and see if you can hit the bullseye. After a day of excitement, relax at the Finish Line Pub Restaurant, and enjoy delicious food and drinks. Group experiences are also available, so bring your friends and family. For an unforgettable adventure, visit njmp.com to learn more and book your experience today.
At Mintz Insurance, we're proud to have been serving our customers for nearly 80 years, offering 30 different insurance products for your auto, home, and business. And to help ensure that you're getting the best rates possible, we give you up to 3 quotes for every policy, so you can choose what's right for you. At Mintz, we're part of the community, local representatives, supporting events, and proud of it. It's part of who we are. Mintz Insurance. Call today and find out how we can help you save on insurance, or visit us at mintzinsurance.com.
Welcome back to Around South Jersey. I have with me Margaret Fauerback, who's only 102. You know, she's a young kid yet. And it's amazing. We were talking during the commercial break. Margaret takes only 1 pill, and the others are vitamins.
Yep.
And I'm telling you what, lady, you are an amazing woman. And then Margaret was talking about, or Donald, the brewery. Tell us about the Fauerback Brewery. Where's that located?
You want me to say or talk?
Yeah, you can talk about it.
Well, it's, we had a trailer in Florida.
Okay.
And out the front, it had our state of New Jersey. And our name was on it. And this man walked by one day and, I don't know, turned around, came back, talked to my husband. Are you part of the brewery out in Wisconsin? We never heard about it. Well, from there, Donald picked it up, and he went on, found out a lot about it. And then, a couple months ago, my great-granddaughter was out there. She did her internship out there.
Right.
And now her cousin, which would be my great-grandson, of the other son, that they're Donald's boys, and he went out there and he met one of the owners.
Wow.
And
Peter Fauerback,
yeah.
who's like my 5th extended cousin, but I've known him now for, 35, 40 years.
No kidding.
I brought beer in, Fauerback Lager. That's one of the oldest breweries in America. Started in 1848 in Madison. Their specialty was a good lager.
Wow.
And they closed operations down about 10 years ago. The facility was purchased for condominiums on the lake. But he still has a little museum out there. And
Wow, that's neat.
yeah, it is. It's pretty neat.
Now, Margaret, did you drink any of that Fauerback beer?
I've never drank a beer in my life.
Have you ever drank anything?
I have drank,
Okay.
yeah. When you asked,
I bet you didn't smoke. Did you?
yes, I did.
Isn't that amazing?
Just a wee little bit.
When you asked me about what I owe it to, I was in the doctor's office. These two, one of them was 100 years old. Why would you? Long ago about it. And finally she said, what did you do? I said, I never smoked, I never drank, I never had a boyfriend. I said, not only that, I'm a liar.
That's the key. Now we know.
I remember when my brother and I were little boys, that on Saturday nights when they would go to the American Legion, the Rose and Foster Cake and all them.
Right.
But they would have, before they would go, they would gather at somebody's home, they would have highballs.
Yes, I remember that.
You say that today, people say, what is a highball?
Yeah.
Yeah, whiskey and water or whiskey and soda.
Right, yeah. Yep. They were popular.
Yep, that's the way it was.
50s and 60s. Well, Donald, you certainly had a fantastic career. I got to tell you, when I got elected to mayor of the city of Millville, Donald was already the executive director of the New Jersey Conference of Mayors, and he threw the best party, didn't he? Margaret, best party.
Yes. Oh, yes.
We all loved coming down to Donald's and to the Margaret's and having a fabulous luncheon and get together. But you know what? I've always been impressed, and honestly, Faith, I've never seen anybody as tenacious as Donald, as hardworking as Donald, as organized as Donald. You got all the gifts I never got. So you're lucky, I'm telling you. Margaret, you gave him a lot of good gifts because I'm not organized, I'm not tenacious. I'm just not an organized person. But he is, so he got some gifts from you and his dad too, I'm sure.
Yes, and now I'm kind of changing the subject a little bit. Nick Asalto.
I love Nick.
Yes, I do too. He was kneeling down between Whitey and I at the Legion one night talking to us. And I said something. And he looked up at my husband and he said, the apple didn't fall very far from the tree, did it, Rudy? So maybe he did get some of his mother.
I think so.
Nick's a good man. He was at the event the other night.
Yes,
saw him there.
A lot of great people at the event, which Donald's going to talk about briefly also. Yep. But let's talk a little bit about your career after the New Jersey Conference of Mayors. How many years were you there?
16.
Wow.
15 summits on the riverbank.
Yeah, they were wonderful.
I
was there for 12 years, so I got to go 12
years. A lot of fun. A lot of great. Ike Cosbin with his crab cakes.
And the world's great.
800 to 900 people. And luckily every year we had the sitting governor and the cabinet members would all come. And it was just one rule. There was no politics. Yeah. Nobody's a Republican. Nobody's a Democrat. You come on the property. You're here to have fun.
Yeah.
And, working hand in hand across the house. Not that way anymore, Jim.
No, unfortunately it isn't. But it was great those days, that's for sure.
Yeah, we tried.
So where did you go once you left the New Jersey Conference of Mayors?
Well, as you know, during all those years, we were promoting building a motorsports facility where we're sitting right now. And you were heavily involved. You were the mayor.
But without you, let me tell you, folks, I was telling the waitress tonight, without Donald, this wouldn't be here. He is so tenacious that he did not give up. And we traveled, he and I, and Nick Aselda, and Don Ayers.
Doug Fisher, Kim Walker.
Yep, we went all over Texas, Virginia, you name it, to find somebody to locate this and tell what the success was, Don, how you were able to do it.
The success was we finally ended up meeting up with Harvey Siegel and Lee Brand and R.J. Valentine. And we all got together and we said Millville wants a motorsports facility. Steve Kays at the county put together a magnificent PowerPoint presentation. We invited them here. Remember, we had that meeting in the basement of my home.
I do. Yes.
And elected officials came, and Mr. Siegel, who had built VIR, Lee Brand, they just couldn't believe that there was a city that wanted, a county that wanted a world-class motorsports facility. And bingo, we struck it rich that day, and the rest is history.
Don, there was pushback from the critics, which there's always going to be.
Yep.
And because the New Jersey Motorsports Park was given a tax break, it's like
pilot program.
It was there, it's there, and it's what you do to get new businesses in. The interesting factor was, as I came in tonight, and I've talked about this in the past, I think it was $750,000 or whatever they had to pay for their allotment at that time. Now, the New Jersey Motorsports Park has provided the city of Millville with millions of dollars worth of ratables in the exotic car garage. My gosh, every time I come in, there's more being built.
Yeah, 2 more.
It's unbelievable.
Two more.
And they have no kids in school, no police problems. They bring nothing except money to the city. And they have wonderful people who come from all over the East Coast that have these facilities, and they love them. And they are 100% rateable to the city. So that's, I'm sure, millions of dollars, because Doc, was there 16 of them?
Well, actually, there's 8. There's 8 buildings now, and each building has 7 to 8 exotic garages within it, and they're beautiful. I mean, they can be as low as $250,000, and they can be up to $600,000-$700,000. And it was fun selling those over the years. I had my real estate license to do that here, but it's just been a great ride, and I'm still very much involved with this place in terms of the charity, the Green Flag Committee. We still have the charity. We're coming up on our 16th annual Coats for Kids event is coming up in December. Today we just ordered 544 coats to be distributed to the 17 school districts for needy children across the county. and it's always a big event. We're not doing the live event with the children here because of the whole COVID situation.
Right.
You don't throw 500 kids into a room anymore. So we're delivering all the coats to the schools, and then in addition to that, we will be providing $15,000 in cash to those 17 schools for purchase of digital learning equipment for needy kids.
That's great.
Anything from
iPads,
laptops, everything. We're now on, I believe, our 4th or 5th year of giving the $15,000 on top of the Coats for Kids event.
Wow. And, that was something that the Green Flag Committee did, and it's a wonderful thing. One thing before I forget, I know that Margaret and your dad, in his memory, tell everybody what you've done with the scholarship. The scholarship you guys are giving.
Yes, I helped. We did it at the college, up from College.
Right.
CC Tech, the high school.
And the kids.
Yeah. And the nice young man that got the scholarship, and he's going to go to school to do engines,
automotive technology.
That's fantastic. We need mechanics. We truly do.
It was a
right. That's it. All these kids go to college.
Yeah.
And they come out. They don't have electricians and plumbers. They're making all kinds of money. That's only two things.
Yes,
right.
You're right. So, and auto mechanics too.
That was a $3,000 scholarship,
nice.
Paid for by the Green Flag Committee, but in the name of Margaret and Rudy Fauerback Motorsports Scholarship. And that was our first year, and we're going to be doing it every year.
That's great.
To a graduating student. So Mom was there, and it was just a couple of days away from her birthday, and 300-400 people in the audience that night, and they sang happy birthday to her.
Yeah, because he said, I'm not going to tell you how old she is, but 2 years ago she was 100.
I'll tell you what, you do not look your age, lady. Of course, neither does he. I don't know whatever this guy does, but, he's in great shape too, He's always very good shape. And it's got, you know what, now I see where he gets all that energy from. It's from you. It's truthfully, this is amazing. And you take away my whole argument as why people live to be 100. My thing is, I gave out 15 certificates when I was the mayor of Millville to mostly women, one man that turned 100. And of the 15, 10 never had a Donald or Rudy in their life. They never had children. So my thing was, the key to living a long time is not having children. Well, Mary Ellen Morey was on my show a couple of years ago. I think she's probably 103 now, or 102. Mm-hmm. She turned 101. I said, Mary Ellen, what do you attribute your longevity to? She said, not having kids. Well, see, you were lucky, though. You had two blessings with Rudy and Donald, so you just blew away my whole theory on why people live to be 100. That's great.
That's true. That's true. I had two wonderful kids, and I had some wonderful grandchildren and wonderful great-grandchildren. I'm very, very fortunate.
Yeah, that's what makes it worthwhile, for sure.
And I have a lovely lady, comes in for 2 hours, Monday through Friday.
That's great.
And he and Tony, everybody's just very good to me. I'm very, very fortunate.
Well, you're a very nice person. And that's well, I see the good side, so that's good. I'm proud of you. So, Donald, getting back to you, after you left here, you went to
Cumberland County Department of Health as Joey Durella and the freeholders asked me to come on board there.
And I got to tell you, you did a fantastic job because you took on during COVID.
Yeah, it was.
I
didn't know about COVID. I took the job 3 months before COVID because I thought, this is going to be great. I'm just going to have an 8 to 5 job for the first time in my life, and I'm going to just, we're going to do a good job. But 3 months later, COVID.
You're working every night of the week.
3 years. Well, you saw the reports that I did. 7 days a week for 3 years. I provided a report to all the elected officials.
And everybody that went out there, Donald, had nothing but praise for you and your staff. They just said, oh my God, Jim, Tony Cerise, everybody I talked to that went out. on the Complete Care board of directors, so I got my shots through Complete Care.
Yep.
But all the people that went out to
it was scary at first. You know, when we were doing the testing, we were all bundled up in protective gear and face shields and mittens and wrapped up and our ankles taped and testing everybody. But then eventually we started giving out the shots. And I give great credit to Noah Hetzel and the gang there. They really, really came together. I was just the leader of the pack. I said I was the cheerleader. But it was 3.5 years there.
Wow,
And, stepped down from there in February this year.
and then the big news happened. Tell everybody what you did when you stepped down from there.
Well, you got to experience a little bit of it. We had our inaugural event 2.5, 3 weeks ago. Spoke with my good friend John Ruga at Northeast Precast. He's building, a golf course that most people know about, Trout National, the reserve. And we talked about me coming on board to be part of the team there. And I said I'd be super happy to do that. And in April, I went to work for Mr. Ruga and the whole Trout National team. And it's been a great ride since then. I go to work bright and early in the morning.
You love that.
We're a great team. We have a great superintendent. Our superintendent for the golf course is a young man named Tim Bruno. He was the assistant superintendent up at Liberty National, up in Jersey City, overlooking New York City. It's a PGA course. So Mr. Ruger brought him in. He's my direct counterpart there. It's who I work with. And we just hired, Mr. Ruger told me it was okay to talk about it tonight, a general manager for Trout National, a gentleman named Ian Leger from Canada. He was a PGA touring pro. He won a couple PGA events back in the early 2000s. He's been on board now for a few months. And, I would suggest that at some point in time after the holidays, maybe get together and do an invitation to bring him on the air, talk about Trout National. But we're also building Silica Sands, which is a beautiful golf course. We have 7 holes that are completed now. 6 that are completed. Playable holes. I've got some photographs there that I brought for you to have a look at. And we actually held our inaugural event on October 14th. You came out. It was we invited 60 players as an invitation. We call it the Freedom Reigns Invitational. And it was there to benefit 3 charities, the Patriot Fund, Freedom House in Millville, and Horizon House, 3 of John's favorite charities. And we raised a lot of money. And sad part about it was we had magnificent weather the week before and the week after, but the day of the event, the 60 players didn't get to play because it rained nonstop the whole day. So we moved everything down to the big building at Northeast Precast, set up a beautiful stage. You were there with Nick Caselda and a couple hundred other people. We built a 40 by 40 putting green. Built that in half a day inside for people to play on. And it was just an awesome event. So we didn't get to play the golf, but about half those 60 players, it was by invitation only, about half of those players got to play on the Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday before, and we're still inviting some of those people back. I don't know if you can zoom in on some of these pictures, but that's a picture of the second hole. That's our foursome. That's myself, Rich Allen, Corey Allen, and Mike Freilinger. This is one of the fairways. Everything is absolute perfection. It's just gorgeous. This is one of my favorite photos right here. This one is what the fairways look like when they're groomed. I mow the roughs in the fairways. Oh yeah, everybody does everything. I mean, the last 3 or 4 days, the superintendents, myself, all of us, we've been aerating the fairways, aerating the greens, and top dressing. That's you recognize that guy right away. Lou Thompson and Gary Wadlinger, they played. And this is my favorite shot. We call this Sunrise at Silica Sands. Just beautiful. But the name of the golf course that we're building now, it's a par 3 executive course. It's a sister facility to the big facility, and we hope to open sometime in 2024. It's just stunning. It's a beautiful golf course, and it plays beautiful. Everything is just par 3, and there will be a clubhouse.
Oh, wow.
It will be open to the public to play. We'll also have a membership situation where people can join if they wish for a nominal fee. It won't be anything outlandish. So we're really looking forward to getting that open.
So that'll be a 9-hole course.
9-hole course. We will open, like I said, sometime in 2024. But Mr. Ruga is eager to see us get that going, and it's just going to be beautiful. I mean, it's a great addition to the county. It's great to have been part of this world-class facility, and now I'm lucky to be part of a world-class golfing facility.
Well, it's interesting. Mayor Panucci and Jerry Cavella were talking about what this and what the Motorsports Park has brought to this area. I mean, when Winfield's was open, I used to sit at the bar having my dinner. There'd be people from the Porsche Club, from Long Island, from all over. They were out here. This is going to help the hotels, the motels, the restaurants, and everything else, because you're going to be bringing people in, and especially for the Trump National, you're going to have big celebrities coming in for that.
Well, it's going to be a fantastic facility all the way around, between the big course, the Tiger Woods design course, and of course our Silica Sands, and it's called Silica Sands. Matter of fact, there's a shirt, and matter of fact, this is one of the. This was our inaugural invitational, one of the hats that we gave out to the people that paid a pretty healthy price to play in that inaugural event. So it's just going to be something else. I mean, that night, you were there. Tell the folks about what it was like when that special ops guy spoke. Tell them about it.
Oh my goodness, it was amazing. He was speaking about his time. I think he spent 20 years in the service, and what he went through. He was such a great speaker, motivational speaker, and what our veterans have gone through and what they've seen, and all the heartbreak. He almost brought tears to everybody's eyes about how horrible the wars have been and things like that. But I'll tell you what, he did such a wonderful job. At the end of his speech, John Ruga got up and asked if anyone, there were signs on your desk or on the table. And Donald, tell them what people were doing when they held up the sign. They were giving more money. He was
a little 5'4" special ops Marine who, like he said, jumped out of Black Hawk helicopters, and his mission was to do very, very bad things. But before I get to the money part, I didn't realize it, but he told us that 22 veterans per day commit suicide in the United States of America. Wow. And that just gets to you. And John is a huge, huge supporter of veterans. It means a lot to him, and that's why we made this first event, a fundraiser for that. But after the speech from this gentleman, he had his a dog with him too, a trained military dog. But everybody had a card on their table with a number. And Mr. Rugas mentioned a certain person's name that's very generous in Cumberland County. He said, this gentleman's putting up $10,000. So when you want to match the numbers, you raise your card up, hold your number up, and before you know it, one card would go up. That's $10,000. Another would come up when they got to $5,000. That's $5,000. The secretaries could just barely keep up with writing down the card numbers and the dollar amounts. So there was a substantial amount of money raised, for veterans and for the Freedom House and Freedom Homes. And I give tremendous credit to Mr. Ruga, because we had to make a lot of changes at the very last minute. It was all going to be up at the golf course, under the big tent. And we were going to be playing golf. We had lights set up and everything to play golf at nighttime. So that part didn't work out, but the benefit was nothing less than spectacular. It's just a lot of money. Between the golfers, who paid a substantial amount of money, and all the tickets sold to the event, the big barbecue, and huge credit to the whole team that put that together. Justin Wigglesworth and Shay Jones did all the barbecue. Said all that. The food was outstanding.
It certainly was. They had like famous crab cakes.
They had the crab cakes there. They were good. It was just a very, very special night. I was just so excited about being there and seeing everybody that I actually didn't take any pictures, but we had a professional photographer there.
Yeah, that's right.
It went really well. So it's just a real privilege to be part of this project. It's a lot of work. A lot of work.
You love to work. Your mother taught you work ethic. You know,
I will say, I've lost over 20 pounds.
You can't afford to lose
in 6 months.
Stop it.
No.
So it's great. I mean,
He doesn't eat right.
I worry about that, Margaret. So,
yeah, I do. I really worry about it. As a matter of fact, I'm sitting here and I'm learning more from this conversation that he's having with you. He doesn't tell me any of this stuff.
Well,
I think it's wonderful. I never knew there was a speaker there that spoke and all the money they raised. He doesn't brag. I shouldn't say brag.
No,
well, I don't know what I should say, but I'm so proud of him.
You should be. He's amazing.
The other part of, why people say, well, why do you call it silica sands? And John was very emphatic about calling it. It's been named for like close to 3 years, and it's the old Maury sand pits at the old Clayville switch. And they have the Atlantic or the Vineland Clayville switch yard there, but most people don't realize they used to call it the Clayville switch. Matter of fact, Rick Raymond had a band back then called the Clayville switch. But that switch would come off the railroad behind McDonald's and ran. There's still a Clayville switch road that runs through that part of Vineland over and crosses Lincoln Avenue. That's just, of course, the paper road now. But right where we're building the course, there's the last piece of railroad. There's about 50 foot of the railroad that's still there.
Yeah.
And it's there. It's not going anywhere.
No,
so the whole thing of silica sands, and there's just a lot of sand. There's a lot of sand and a lot of digging, and it's just going to be beautiful.
It sure is. So, we're talking with Donald and Margaret Fauerback about all the great things happening at the Lake Trout, or the Trout National Golf Course, the Silica Sand Golf Course, and many other things. We'll be back with more right after these messages.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born, right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves by making tires you can depend on. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them, and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Advanced robotics, experienced physicians. When it comes to minimally invasive surgery, we don't play around.
Are you just part of the crowd?
Do you feel isolated and alone?
Do you wish someone would see your gifts?
Would you like to be seen as an individual?
A person of value.
Full of life and purpose. Part of a family that cares?
New Jersey Motorsports Park. Experience the adrenaline rush of go-karting on our challenging tracks, with arrive and drive sessions, available for all skill levels. Looking for something even more daring? Try your hand at axe throwing, and see if you can hit the bullseye. After a day of excitement, relax at the Finish Line Pub Restaurant, and enjoy delicious food and drinks. Group experiences are also available, so bring your friends and family. For an unforgettable adventure, visit njmp.com to learn more and book your experience today.
that we harvest.
Welcome back to Around South Jersey. This is the inside track at the New Jersey Motorsports Park. I'd like to thank Lee and Harvey, but certainly Brad Scott for their cooperation throughout the season. And this is the last show for the year, and a more appropriate person to be on the last show than Donald and Margaret Fauerback, because Donald was one of the key people to get this put together. And thank you, Donald, during the period of time that I was there to see this come about. Now, getting back to the golf course or the golf club, tell me a little bit more about the Silica Club.
Silica Sands Golf Club is the name of our executive course, 9-hole course that we plan to open sometime in 2024. I don't know the exact timing. We're building. Like I said, we have 6 holes completed now. I showed you some pictures. The fairways are perfection. The greens, the putting on the greens are like putting on a pool table.
Wow!
I mean, you really.
That's great.
It's neat to be part of a brand new golf course. To walk down a fairway that no one has hit a ball down. And like I say, our inaugural event was October 14th. We didn't get to play everything. We got some rounds got in the sunny days before that, but it's just going to be a great course. I did mention it will be open to the public. There will be a clubhouse, and with food and beverage, and we're just looking forward to getting everything going, getting it opened. Some people. You can actually see the course from Lincoln Avenue when you go by the Clayville Electric Yard there. It's just really the softball field.
I built that.
Yeah, you built that, and it was your land.
Well, no, it was Maury's land.
Maury's land.
They
leased it to you. And bless Jay Maury's heart. We lost him a few weeks ago.
I saw that. Yeah,
the last of the Maury's there. But if you go north, and if you look to the right by the old softball field, you can see the big tall trees. 70, 80 foot big oak trees that we've trimmed. That was one of my favorite jobs when I went to work there, going up in that 80 foot lift with a chainsaw in my hand, trimming those limbs off. I never had so much fun with a chainsaw in my life.
He's amazing, Margaret. I don't know how you did it. He's amazing.
Superintendent
the things you learn later in life.
Yeah. Well, that's why you live to be 102, dear. You don't have to stress out as much.
Like my third day there, and Tim Bruno, our superintendent, he says, "How are you with heights?" And heights? What's he talking about? I said, "What do you mean heights?" He says, "Those big trees that Mr. Ruga wants trimmed." He says, "We've got an 80-foot lift." I said, "Yeah, that'll be fun." Next day, there we were, up trimming the trees. Mr. Ruga riding down. Who's that up? That's Donald. No, it's great. We're a real team. Everybody comes to work. No matter who you are, we come to work with our boots on, and we're running equipment. I mean, today our chief superintendent's out there, running a tractor, running a spreader, spreading sand. I was on a tractor today doing some repair work where we had some rain washouts because we're getting ready to hydro seed. So every day is a new day, and just can't wait to be open next year and welcoming people onto the property.
Well, that'll be neat. I think about how lucky you've been. You were here to welcome people at the New Jersey Motorsports Park, and now the next big thing that's hit Cumberland County is the Trout National and the Silica Sand golf course that's going to be part of that. And it's just wonderful, isn't it? But again, you do anything and everything. It doesn't matter.
Well, it's a team. So everything we've ever done has been a team. We wouldn't have put a shovel on the ground here were it not for the Jim Quinns and the Nick Casellas and the Doug Fishers. And all those people, Republicans and Democrats, didn't make any difference. We were all for bringing a world-class facility to Millville, New Jersey. And the same goes for Mr. Ruga. He's had a dream, and to build that facility. And I'm just lucky to come on board and be part of a small team. It was great to have the first event. I couldn't wait to get on the phone and start calling people and selling them tickets.
Yeah, you did.
just like the old days, selling events here, selling memberships. And we will have memberships at Silica Sands, but it's just going to be a very small amount. Because some people just want to be members.
Right.
It will be open to the public. People can come and play without membership.
Well, you know, speaking of John Ruga, when I was the mayor, he opened Superior Walls in Millville. What a great guy. And I was like, wow, this is really neat, because what he was doing, folks, was putting together like concrete blocks all together. So instead of having to have a mason come in and lay them one by one, you just bring the whole wall in.
Yep.
You know, Superior Walls. And then when he went to Northeast Precast, he went to another level. It's like the walls you see on the highways for sound barrier walls are his, the warehousing walls, and all that kind of stuff. And
residential walls, too.
Yeah, oh, sure. No, I know. That's what I mean. When they were still doing the building of a house or, you know, whatever they're going to do, it makes so much more sense than having a mason come out and spend weeks putting one at a time. It's all done for you. Bring it in, boom, it's ready to go. What a great concept. And, you know, I'm so happy for him. And what a great guy he is.
And Lori.
That's what I say.
And Lori is just, she's right there. You know, they're partners. And then she's every bit as much of that team as John. And, you know, Justin Wigglesworth, who oversees a lot, he's very close to John. And Shay Jones, who's very close to me. Shay is Director of Project Management. And he has just a ton of great people. I mean, I roll in there in the morning before the sun rises, and there'll be 4 or 5, 6 tractor trailer trucks lined up, getting ready to head out. Their lights on with those 3 and 4 big concrete walls on there. It's just
it's wonderful.
It's a spectacular business. And
sure it is.
I think John said just over 400 employees now.
Wow, isn't that fabulous?
So.
And I remember when he was
golf course is going to employ a lot of people also.
That's true. Yeah,
and it's like when we built this.
Yeah.
There were not 5 new hotels in Vineland.
No.
Now there's 5 new hotels in Vineland plus the one in Millville.
Yes, exactly.
So
that really is the tourism draw there.
It is.
Well, Donald, thank you so much for coming in, and thank you for bringing your lovely mother. It's good to see you, Margaret, and thank you for talking about the Little League and you know what really getting that started in 1954. And Donald and I were in America. We just
and she worked and run the refreshment stands.
Did you really? That's good.
Every field that was around.
Do you remember Elizabeth Bacon?
Tizzy
Bacon?
Yeah, sure.
She was my teacher at the high school, and of course she was a Millville American.
That was my first paying job of my life.
Oh,
I rode my bicycle out to the airport to mow the grass and line the fields.
Wow.
Tizzy paid me in a little cash envelope. I still have those envelopes. How much do you think I got paid a week? I worked 6 days a week taking care of those fields. The Farm League and the Little League.
$30?
$18.
Oh,
$18 a week.
Well,
I don't know how many hours it was, but hey, that's how I bought that first 55 Chevy.
Oh, wow, that's cool. Well,
he was young.
Yeah, and he's a great worker. He really is. You know that. So I'm sure you were
like I said, I've said a couple of times tonight that I'm very proud of him.
Yeah, you should.
Very proud.
Don't forget where it all started. You know, I was opportunistic to get the work for Mr. Wheaton for 30 years.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
Great family.
Yep.
You know, we lost Edward this past year.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
He was my boss for 28 years. Great family.
Wonderful people.
Mr. Wheaton Sr. hired me the day I came out of the Navy.
Oh, wow.
So
that is neat.
You know, it's pretty neat.
Well, thank you, Donald. Thank you, Margaret.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
Really enjoyed it.
Well, we'll go home and watch it. We can go to Facebook and watch it again. You know, your friends in Maine can sit there and watch it all over the place.
Well, I hope they're watching.
Yeah, I do too.
And all the Millers, wave hi to all your nephews and nieces. You can look right in there and just wave to them.
Okay.
There you go. All the Millers and the Fauerbacks and the Shannons.
Oh, that's right. Yes, Shannons are wonderful people too.
I sent them all a note today that she was going to be on with you tonight.
That's good. Well, thank you all for joining us. Ryan Narowski, thank you for producing the show. And we'll see you again the next time. Take care, folks. Have a nice night. Bye-bye.
This has been a QBC television production, in association with our partners and sponsors. QBC broadcasts on Comcast Cable Channel 22, and live streams its programming on Facebook and YouTube. All rights reserved by Quinn Media and QBC, programming that serves the South Jersey market.